I don't. What's it now?
That looks good.
Thank you. Okay.
Anything else I can do for you?
No, thank
Okay,
you.
you're
I don't
welcome.
know where Rachel is. She's always helping me with my wardrobe malfunctions.
Oh, okay.
No, but it happened last week that people rushed the FEMA, and I pulled it off because I didn't want it like in my face.
Can I
And
make a
then
copy of this so I can play along at the home game?
no, no, but I can
Is
go
it
get
right?
you. Yeah, I mean, I have another copy
Well, actually,
inside.
as long as you're following kind of the normal run of show, then I'll be fine.
I'm gonna just call the pages. I mean, this is I got whatever I got from.
I'm just eyeballing it.
I just plugged in whatever Blake tells me to put in. No, so Blair, I can't. Blair, if I take it off, then it gets stuck back here. I have to go into the because it's terrible. Every week it's a wardrobe malfunction. I'm like, just don't come talk to me. No, we had it taped. Rachel had taped it, so we looped it up and taped it so that it wouldn't tug, so it was just enough.
Yeah.
But I don't know what happened to the tape because last week somebody came up to me.
Wait, do you need me to pull the
No,
loop out
no,
of the way now?
no, it's fine. I got it. I'm all good. It was no, but I can't. Like, I'm wearing a cami under here. So, and the only way to get everything off is to go into the bathroom and take. So, every time people come up to talk to me, so like I'll take it off and it's just hanging on my shoulder. Then the little thing fell off and it was on the floor, and I was like,
One thing too,
It's
to wear
like
the full on.
having another wardrobe malfunction.
The onesie. Then you guys.
Give me a standing mic.
Thought we were making T-shirts and wearing
Yes.
the little.
Yes. And 1, 2.
You do remember
No,
that this mic
just-
is picking everything up. You were good.
No, this is on. Oh, you mean it?
Friggin' wig. But
Are we talking about perm already? No, it's not even Tu B'Shvat yet. Ira. I don't know what the hell. I don't know what the hell with my phone. But today got I opened the app and I had 3 voicemail messages. One was from your wife from last Wednesday.
Okay. Well, today was the day she had her procedure today.
Oh,
So she's physically good, but emotionally she's in a tough place right now.
is Karen here?
No, she's home with, actually the other daughter came up from West End with her husband and daughter.
Oh,
And Monica's supposed to be over the house tomorrow, so we'll see how it goes.
good. So I saw that there and I'm like, what? And then I listened to it. I was like, oh my God.
Yeah.
I mean, it was like,
Yeah, the call from hell.
talk about $1. What is it? A day late and $1 short? Please tell her. Just I'll check in with her maybe on Monday. But send her my love. Tell her. And all 3 of them were like pastoral calls. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
I wanted to wish a particularly warm welcome to everyone who's here in person. Sit close. And welcome to everyone who's live streaming and to the family and guests of our bar mitzvah, Mikey Sweet. I am joined on the bima this evening by a lot of amazing people. So Blake Singer, Ira Weissman, Bert Can, and TKE's Shir Emet Choir. I'm very happy that you all are here. Nursing a new head cold, so I'm not going to sing. I'm just going to stand here quietly. We begin with Ahavat Olam, led by the choir. Page 24.
Ahavat Olam, Beit Yisrael, Amcha Chavta, Torah mitzvot, Hukim u'mishpatim, Otahanu limadatan. Ahavat Olam, Beit Yisrael, Amcha Chavta, Torah mitzvot, Hukim u'mishpatim, Otahanu limadatan. Akein Adonai Eloheinu b'shochbeinu u'kumeinu na'asiach b'kukecha v'nizmak b'divrei toratecha u'mitzvotecha le'olam Olam Beit Yisrael Amcha Torah mitzvot u'mishpatim limadatan. When we lie down, when we rise up, the joy will last forever. When we lie down, when we rise up, the joy will last forever, forever. Beit Yisrael, Amcha Chavta, Torah mitzvot, Hukim u'mishpatim, Otahanu limadatan.
And now it is a pleasure to invite Amy and Lainey Sweet and Danielle Gallant, or Gallant, for the candle blessings, which you can find on page 2.
Hear my prayer, I sing to you. Be gracious to the ones I love, and bless them with goodness and mercy and peace. Oh, hear my prayer to you. Let us light these lights and see the way to you, and let us say
Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lahadlik ner shel Shabbat.
Amen.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Shabbat.
We'll continue now with Lecha Dodi, page 20.
Lecha Dodi, Likrat Kala, B'nei Shabbat, L'kavila. Lecha Dodi, Likrat Kala, B'nei Shabbat, L'kavila.
Jamor v'zachor, diberu echad, hishmi'anu el hamyuchad. Adonai echad, u'shemo echad, l'shem u'tiferet v'lithilah.
Lecha Dodi, Likrat Kala, B'nei Shabbat, L'kavila. Lecha Dodi, Likrat Kala, B'nei Shabbat, L'kavila.
Likrat Shabbat, lechu v'neocha, ki hi mikor habaracha, mirosh mikedem nesucha, sof ma'aseh b'machshavat tefila.
Lecha Dodi, Likrat Kala, B'nei Shabbat, L'kavila. Lecha Dodi, Likrat Kala, B'nei Shabbat, L'kavila.
Itoruri, itoruri, kivalorek uri, uri, shir daberi, kivod Adonai elayich nigla.
Lecha Dodi, Likrat Kala, B'nei Shabbat, L'kavila. Lecha Dodi, Likrat Kala, B'nei Shabbat, L'kavila. O'i v'shalom, ateret ba'alav, gam b'simcha v'tzocholam, toch emunei, am zigula, o'i chala, Lecha Dodi, Likrat Kala, B'nei Shabbat, L'kavila. Lecha Dodi, Likrat Kala, B'nei Shabbat, L'kavila.
We remain standing for the Reader's Kaddish, page 26. Mikey, will you come down and lead us in Reader's Kaddish, please?
Yitgadav yitkadash meraba.
Amen.
Ve'alma divrach hirtei. V'yamlech malchutei.
B'chayechon yomechon u'chayetecho Beit Yisrael. Ba'agala, u'vizman kariv. B'imru, amen. Yeheshmei Rabba mevorach. Leolam leom leomaya. Yitbarach.
Yitbara v'yishtabach. V'yitpa'ar v'yitramam v'yitnaseh. Viet Hadar, Viet Ale, Viet Halal, Shemei Dekusha,
Barechu.
Le'ela min kol birchata, V'shirata,
Tushbechata v'nechemata, Damiran be'alma, V'ru Amen.
Page 28, Baruch Hu. Continue remaining standing for Shema, page 34. Be seated. We continue with V'ahavta, page 36.
V'ahavta
et Adonai Elohecha b'chol levavecha u'b'chol nafshecha u'b'chol me'odecha v'hayu hadvarim ha'elech asher Anochi mitzavecha Hayom al levavecha, v'shinantam levanecha, v'dibartam, v'shivtecha b'beitecha, u'lektecha b'derech, u'shachpecha mitzvotai, v'tem kedoshim lelechem. Ani Adonai Elohechem, asher hotzeiti etchem me'eretz Mitzrayim, liot lachem Elohim. Ani Adonai Elohechem. We continue with Mi Chamocha, a song of freedom, not from this week's Torah portion, but next week's Torah portion, page 40. And our last song, before we prepare for the Amidah, our last prayer will be Vishamru, page 44.
Shabbat,
rise in body or in spirit for the Amidah, which begins with Adonai Svatai Tiftach on page 46. We'll sing together aloud through Atah Kadosh on page 52, and then there'll be time for silent meditation. Page 46.
You are holy.
with Avodat Halev, prayers from the heart, or silent meditation. When you have concluded your silent prayer, you may be seated. In just a moment, we'll continue with the Misha Berach for those who are in need of healing. Before we sing the prayer, which is on page 253, I will read the list of names of those in our community who are in need of healing. Harvey Adelsky, Sherry Alexander, Gary Atkins, Richard Barker, Betty Berlin, Lynn Birmingham, Carol Carolla, Ray Clark, Bruce Cohen, Isidore Cohen, Nicholas Catrone, Mary Davis, Stephen Despens, Mike Dietrich, Claire DeVoskin, Mitch Earl, Alan Eisen, Carrie Ehrlich, Aaron and Roz Feingold, Laura Floriance, Bobby Fredrickson, Lauren Friedman, Max Gans, Tom Gorgone, Rick Hack, George Campbell Hamilton, Joanne Hankins, Frederick Herman, Braden Hink, Laura Jacoby, John Jenkins, Linda Jenkins, Shannon Jenkins, Charles Jones, Lila Kaminer, Jackie Capstein, Marlene Cateron, Tom Cateron, Bob Kershaw, Marilyn Krasnov, Diana Lerner, Cindy Levine, Ken Levy, Marcia Levy, Dorothy London, Asa Luo, Liz Lyman, Lisa Macklin, Paul Melnick, Arnold Meyer, Stuart Miller, Esta Mitchell, Phyllis Mix, Lowell Morrow, Shayna Batmoshe, Greg Mosher, Mark Newerman, Arthur Newman, Joyce Newman, Lynn Prisant, Kathy Rasnick, David Reckman, Marjorie Romes, Deborah Rowan, Peyton Rowland, Norman Rosenblatt, Sherry Rosenblum, Barry Savage, Patty Savage, Brian Schneider, Eric Schuster, Lee Sexton, Nancy Shallett, Judith Siegel, Carter Silk, Nicole Aronson Silverman, Debbie Singerman, David Skolny, Arthur Slutza, Linda Spitzer, Norman Spitzer, Robin Weinstein, Dr. John Sid Williams, Dr. Walter Wolf, Faye Yeager, Yarden Meir ben Yitzchak, Paul Zale, Aharon ben Yocheved, Leah bat Mindel, Yonah Betzalel ben Chava Shoshana. And if there are any other names that you want to add, please add them now. Continue with a prayer for peace in Israel during wartime on the blue cards in your seating. Please join me. Rock and Redeemer of the people Israel, guardian of the covenant, bless and protect the state of Israel and all of her inhabitants. Guard this good land, established with liberty, justice, and peace, as conceived by the prophets of Israel. Open the hearts and minds of all the leaders of the nation, her sons and her daughters, to guide them in the paths of peace and justice, with true strength and wisdom. Strengthen the hands of those who defend and protect our holy land, and crown their efforts with success, that they might establish your reign of righteousness, free from all oppression and fear. May the work of their hands be established, and the words of your prophets be fulfilled. And they shall beat their swords into plowshares, and their spears into pruning hooks. Nation shall not lift up sword against nation, nor shall they learn war any more. Amen. Move some things around. Good Shabbos. I'm going to speak about Musar, about I'm going to quote a Hasidic rabbi, so I feel like I should do the Good Shabbos as opposed to the Hebrew. But all right, so this week's Torah reading. We're reading Parshat Bo. It's one of my favorites. I think I say that every week. But I do have very strong memories. It's one of the first ones that I learned, at least in the book of Exodus, that I read the whole thing from beginning to end. Back when I was in rabbinical school, that was the way to get some walking around money. They would pay you if you would read the whole Parsha. As Mikey can probably tell you, a lot of the sections start the same way. It starts over and over again the same way, so you really have to keep track of all the things. And I'm not going to steal your thunder, Mikey, but I'm going to talk a little bit about the last 3 plagues. So we have the 3 final plagues, and I wanted to share a teaching that I learned earlier this week from the Hasidic rabbi Mordechai Lehner, also known as the Ishbitzer, who lived in Poland in the early 1800s. He died a pretty young man. He lived from 1801 to 1854. His great work, Mei HaShiloach, is a collection of his thoughts and sermons on the weekly Torah portion, on the holidays, and various other Jewish texts. And it includes what I think is some unconventional wisdom and unconventional observations about personal struggles and challenges, and also about Jewish practice. Published for the first time either shortly before or after his death, I found different dates, by his grandson Gershon. So the Ishbitzer's Drash, his sermon, illustrates, most of them illustrate Musar, which is sort of an ethical teaching that is found in the Torah portion. And he does, in this week's portion, he does it by connecting to another book of Tanakh, the book of Proverbs. So this is what he says. The 3 plagues in this week's Parsha, locusts, darkness, and the slaying of the firstborn, correspond to the verse in Proverbs 8:13. Yirat Adonai sonot ra, ge'ah v'ga'on v'derech ra, and the verse ends, although he doesn't quote it, ufi tahapuchot saneti. To revere God is to hate evil. I hate pride, arrogance, the evil way, etc. What he doesn't quote, I'm not going to quote it. It's not important, but it's a really evil thing. Locust, darkness, and slaying of the firstborn apparently correspond to pride, arrogance, and the evil way. And now he's going to work it backwards. So the evil way is the last thing that's quoted in Proverbs, or the last thing that is hated by God or ethical people, the evil way, and it's a little bit vague. So the Rebbe teaches, the evil way means jealousy, desire, and gluttony. These all correspond to the plague of locusts. Does everybody know what gluttony is? Anybody not know what gluttony is? Okay, so gluttony is, like overeating and just, voracious eating. And I get that one because the locusts devour all the vegetation in Egypt. So it's easy to see the connection between gluttony and locusts. Jealousy and desire, I'm not so sure. And as I noted, he doesn't quote the end of the verse. So instead, because I think he doesn't quote it because he wants to work backwards from the gluttony and the locust, and then he's going to work backwards to the other ones that correspond to pride and to arrogance, and then to the first one, pride, which are going now to correspond to darkness and slaying of the firstborn. It's very clever how he does this. Arrogance. Okay, we all know what arrogance is, and the rabbis, the early rabbis, the classical rabbis, they hate arrogance. They call it yohara. And as everybody met someone who's really arrogant, okay, so I don't need to define it. The Ishbitzer defines it as elevating oneself above another person, before whom he should instead be subdued. This corresponds to the plague of darkness. And then he quotes another verse from the book of Proverbs, chapter 20, verse 20. Mikalel aviv ve'imo, the one who curses his father or his mother, his lamp will be extinguished in deep darkness. Now this is interesting. There is in the Torah portion, not this week, not even next week, not in the 10 Commandments, although there is something about honoring your mother and your father and your mother, so that's a big one in the Big Ten. Not until Parshat Mishpatim do we encounter Mikalel aviv ve'imo, the one who curses his father or his mother, and there we get the punishment. Does anyone know what the punishment for that is? Yes, Rabbi. Oh, and Bert had it too. Mot yumat, right? That one, he gets stoned. Capital punishment for cursing your father and your mother. You paying attention? Okay. So I have no idea what arrogance, I didn't have any idea. By the way, I didn't study this on my own. I have a Monday evening study group. I would never have picked up this book otherwise, but it's really clever. So here's the explanation to make it sort of fit. This is what he teaches. In truth, we are commanded to obey God alone. A person has only a small portion of the reverence for God for his parents. Nevertheless, when parents teach their child the ways of Torah, he must listen to them and subdue himself before them. Okay? So this verse in Proverbs then refers to someone who is arrogant, who elevates himself and does not subdue himself before the one he should subdue himself. Here, the Ishbitzer says it's his parents. His lamp will be extinguished in deep darkness. And that, Mikey, I know that you're going to talk about tomorrow, right? Not just an ordinary darkness, right? But the light, the lamp, and I don't know if it's a physical lamp or if it's the spiritual light of the person who curses his mother and his father and who is arrogant before them, before their parents, and by association, one who is arrogant before God. That person is just lost in the dark, such a deep darkness. Again, physical darkness, spiritual darkness. Finally, if arrogance is not knowing your place, not behaving humbly before your parents, pride is something else. There's an action that goes with pride. It's not just about sort of puffing yourself up when you should be being humble. Pride is when he boasts of himself with greater elevation than he deserves. This corresponds to slaying of the firstborn, makat bechorot, because the word bechor, firstborn, also means elevating oneself. Did anyone get it yet? No, I didn't either at this point. And by the way, the print in this one is really little, so I went into Sfaria and I blew it up really big. It's tiny. I need to get a magnifying glass for this. Okay, so the word Bechor, we know this. We know the word firstborn from somewhere else. We know this from the book of Genesis. All over the family stories, our origin stories in the book of Genesis, the firstborn has a higher status, right? Firstborn receives a double portion, right? The special inheritance or birthright, which is also called the Bechor, right? And also a blessing. And we'll talk about this tomorrow at Torah study also. So the one that's the most famous, who negotiates his way into the birthright and then steals the blessing? Jacob. Jacob elevates himself over his older brother Esau, but that was the way it was supposed to work out. Okay. Now, so we have Makat Bechorot, the slaying of the firstborn. We know that the firstborn is also of an elevated status, and somehow this is connected to pride. So we have darkness is arrogance. Pride is not just being arrogant or thinking that you're all that, and do people still say in the bag of chips? But it's boasting. It's boasting about it. So, showing off, I don't know. Okay, don't think about someone that you know because we're supposed to be being spiritually elevated now. Okay, so I had to read, that was as far as we got, by the way, on Monday night in our study, but I really wanted to share this teaching because it's really clever, but I couldn't figure it out until I read till the end of this, the section on Parshat Bo. So at the very end of the Torah reading, in Exodus chapter 13, or very toward the end, we get an instruction. God instructs Moses to tell the people about the dedication of the firstborn. And that's where you get the opposite, or the counterpart. So there's the slaying of the firstborn in Egypt. And then we read, Kadesh li kol bechor, consecrate to me every firstborn, the first issue of every womb among the Israelites. Man and beast is mine. This is God's instruction. And if you remember from the slaying of the firstborn, Makat Bechorot, it's the firstborn not only of all the Egyptian men, but also all of the animals, right? The firstborn animals. And that's because the firstborn animals also have a special status. Kadesh li, they are holy, right? Make holy or sanctify to me, consecrate to me. Every firstborn, man and beast, they are mine, God says. So the Ishbitzer explains that through God, the firstborn is elevated, and concludes with a teaching about spiritual refinement. So you really had to read until the end of the chapter to get the nugget of the teaching. Chokhmah v'hamachshava, wisdom and thought, are human beings' principal form. So it's man and beast. Human beings, we possess, or we are, wisdom and thought. So the head and the heart. While animals are defined by koach u'ma'aseh, strength and action. And the message here, according to the Ishbitzer, is that by joining thought and action, so if we take our human essential, machshava, thought, and we take ma'aseh, our animal instinct of action, and we join them together, then our human being, our human form, is complete and refined. So that when we act with wisdom, or when we act with thought and thoughtful intention, then our lamp will never be extinguished. Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom.
That's all I've got. Chew on that some more. If you like it, let me know, and we can do a little more teaching from the Ishbitzer. It's an acquired taste. I think I'm starting to.
Bag of chips?
Yeah. I actually was studying with a bag of chips on Monday night. It requires physical sustenance for the mind to be sharp. We'll continue with Aleinu, page 282, and we rise in body or in spirit. Aleinu l'shabeach l'adon hakol, l'tekedu lo yotzer breshit,
Shelo asanu k'gayei haratzot, v'lo samanu k'mishpachot adama. Shelo samchokenu kahem, v'gor aleinu kechol hamonam. V'anachnu korim, u'mishtachavim u'modim, lifnei melech, malchei hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, v'ne'emar v'haya Adonai l'melech al kol haaretz, hayom hahu, yeh Adonai echad, u'shemo,
You may be seated for a moment. Before reciting the mourner's Kaddish, I'll announce the names of our loved ones whose yahrzeits are observed this week, and also the names of those who we are in mourning in that first year for. If you are here for the yahrzeit of a loved one, or if you are in mourning, please rise when I read the name of your loved one. This week, the week of January 19th, we observe the yahrzeits and remember Sarah Tanya Arkin, Martha Berger, Ruth Kushner Besser, Rose Brenner, Irving Brostoff, Roger Despens, Keith Earls, Florence Gaynor, Paul Golden, Molly Golden, Martin James, Esther Katz, Murray Katz, Richard Klein, Irving Lebo, Barry Levy, Gail Levine, Martha Manley, Fred Paul, Elio Pickles, Sarah Price, Louis Rogers, Herman Rosenblatt, Milton Sivak, Abraham Weiss, Rolf Weinberg, and Josh Yellen. And on our list of those who we are mourning, Roger Despens, Ilan David Nasseri, Betty Besser, Marlene Kaplan, Edith Ekber, Jay Anthony, Marcia Kurtz, Bernice Bunny Mayer, Melody Hudgens, Philip Kaufman, Jessica Berkeley, Eva Rothstein, David Bemis, Henry Meininger, Bridget Paon, Dennis Lebo, Sandy Fay, Stephen Ekber, Ellen Marcia Katz, Sydney Schneider, Melvin Kiner, Francis Reif, Sandra Slutza, Mary Thoburn, and Erica Goldstone. If you are not already standing, I invite you to rise in body or in spirit as we recite together as a community the Mourner's Kaddish, page 294. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah, V'alma divrach hirute v'amlich malchute. B'chayechon uv'yomechon uv'chaye decho beit Yisrael. Ba'agala v'zman kariv v'imru amen. Yehi shmei rabba mevarach leolam omeo maya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh. V'yitadar v'yitalev v'yitalal shmei dekudesha b'richu. Le'ela mikol birchata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechemata damiram v'yalma v'imru amen. Yehi shlama rabba min shemaya v'chaim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Oseh shalom b'imramav hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. You may be seated. Mikey, would you come on back up, please? It's good. You don't have to bring your Siddur. We have some presentations for you, and I'm also inviting, and she's already here because she's so ready, Rachel Barrett, who is going to present you with some gifts. Okay, here, you stand over here. Rachel's going to use that mic so everyone can hear her. Okay.
Mikey, I have prepared words. Don't worry. I have known of you since before you were born, and I met you for the first time when you were just days old. And now we are here on the eve of your bar mitzvah, and I am so pleased to have helped you a bit along the way. In between chatting about school, homework, or those YouTube videos you like, I taught you some Torah chanting, and you taught me how to open a fancy iPod case, because I did it wrong. Throughout this process, you have displayed a maturity and dedication that is well beyond your years. I know that you will use the skills you have learned here, thoughtfulness, caring, commitment, and apply them in many other areas of your life. And I wouldn't mind if you also used your chanting skills again, but I won't make you. For now, I want to thank you for sharing this part of your Jewish journey with me, and I look forward to watching you continue on this path for many, many more years to come. I am also honored to represent Temple Kol Emeth, our clergy, lay leaders, staff, and faculty, as we present to you a few gifts on the occasion of your bar mitzvah. First, we present you with 2 books. The first is your own copy of the Tanakh, the Hebrew Bible, our Jewish foundational text, and the second is the J Guy's Guide, providing practical advice using Judaism as a compass for the journey through adolescence. Also, on behalf of WRJ, we present you with a Kiddush cup, and on behalf of Men's Club, we present you with a Jewish star necklace. We hope that you will use these gifts often as you continue your journey to Jewish adulthood. Mazel Tov, and I look very much forward to celebrating you tomorrow after our service, which you will do wonderfully at. Thank you.
Take your gifts. Okay. I would never have figured that out. And we always learn from our students. Sandy Davis, yes, I saw you, is here, our board president, and she is going to share just a few announcements. Let me move all my junk.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Thank you to the choir for filling our sanctuary with your uplifting voices. There's so much going on at TKE over the next several weeks. Please make sure you're reading the Tekiah every Tuesday morning to learn about what is happening and how you can participate. I'd like to highlight a few important items. Who will be the next senior rabbi for TKE? Our search has moved into the next phase, candidate visits. The goal of these visits is for each of you to interact with the candidate and for them to interact with you and experience the community that is TKE. Our first visit is scheduled for this Sunday and Monday. Please join us for one or more of these opportunities to meet the candidate. Sunday at 10 a.m. and 7 p.m. The candidate will make a presentation followed by a meet and mingle. These sessions will be in person only. Then on Monday at 1 p.m., we will have a lunch and learn program available in person and also online. Please RSVP at kolemeth.net. We'd like to see as many TKE members as possible come out to meet our first candidate. Also, mark your calendars for these special Shabbat services. On February 9th, we will formally install Rabbi Daniel Alter as a member of the TKE clergy. Please note that our Shabbat service will begin at 7 p.m. that evening. And on February 16th, the popular Reggae Shabbat with our Ahavat Torah band returns. Please join us for Oneg following services. We thank the Sweet family for sponsoring the Oneg in honor of Mikey's bar mitzvah tomorrow. Mazel tov and Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat shalom.
I'm just going to tack on one last announcement. Many of you were here. Actually, I'm seeing a lot of familiar faces. You were here when our visitors from the Atlantic Institute, which is a Muslim cultural organization dedicated to fostering friendship and peace among people of different faiths, came to celebrate Shabbat Hanukkah with us. And at the Oneg, back in December, they extended an invitation for us to visit them. And you may have read about it in the Tekiah. I hope that you will join me on Sunday, February 4th at 11 a.m. for brunch and schmooze. We have to teach them that word, but friendship circle, tables of friendships, and just conversation. Very informal. It's at the Atlantic Institute, which is in Alpharetta. And please see the Tekiah and the website. On the calendar at the website, if you click on Sunday, February 4th, if you click on the event, there is an RSVP. There's a form that goes to the Atlantic Institute, so they will know how much, of those amazing Turkish delight treats to make. And then you can contact Cindy. We'll set up carpools. But it's not far, and it's just going to be just getting to know our neighbors. So I'm really looking forward to it, and I hope you'll join me. Okay, so it says in my run of show, and I get my directions from the musicians, that we are first going to say Kiddush and Motzi, and then there will be a closing song. So we usually ask that you rise in body or in spirit for Kiddush, and Blake will lead us.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri hagafen. Motzi lechem min haaretz, we give thanks to God for bread. Our voices rise in song together, as our joyful prayer is said. Baruch Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, motzi lechem min haaretz.
Take one to them. Okay. If you want to sing along, we're gonna have a wonderful. Thank you so much. Please come back next week. Hine Matov, page 10.
Hine Matov, Umanayim, Shevet Achim Gam Yachad. 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 How good it is, how sweet it is, to be together on this day. How good it is, how sweet it is, to be together on this day. Hine Matov, Umanayim, Shevet Achim Gam Yachad. Hine Matov, Umanayim, Shevet Achim Gam how sweet it is, how sweet it is to be together on this day. How good it is, how good it is, how sweet it is, how sweet it is to be together on this day. Hinei matov umanayim shevet achim gam yachad. Hinei matov umanayim shevet achim gam yachad.
Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom.
Remember to bring your scenery out through the back.